Well, if you suffer from a chronic fear of failure, then you're certainly not alone. Whether it's going to a job interview, a daunting first date, or addressing a fallout with friends, the anxiety around being rejected is often worse than the event itself.
Yeah, isn't it? So why is worrying about making mistakes so dangerous for our well-being? And how can we embrace rejection and then use it to our advantage? For more, we welcome back clinical psychologist Dr. Anastasia Horonis. Hello, lovely to see you. Let's look at the science for a second. What actually causes this fear of rejection in the first place?
It's a great conversation to have because there's a biological reason as to why we actually experience that fear of rejection. And if we think back to prehistoric days from an evolutionary perspective, a fear of rejection was like protection for us. It was important for us to be part of the pack, to be protected by the social group. If we were out on our own and more isolated, we were more vulnerable to lots of threats in life. So it has a protective function for us.
Okay.
You say that a chronic fear of failing, when you're younger, can lead to bigger problems as you get older. And as adults, how do we see that fear of failure manifest?
Yeah. We all have some degree of fear of failing, but what we see for some people is, as you said, it can become really quite chronic. And then what happens, it gets in the way of us taking some healthy risks in life. We don't end up going for that job interview, or we don't end up reaching out to that friend maybe we haven't spoken to in some time, or going on that first date. And it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, and we can become more and more isolated.
Okay, so we build this up in our head, we feel it before the actual event. So how do we get around that?
Yeah, the anticipation of something bad happening.
Yeah. So whether it is a job, when you actually go and do the thing that you have to do, it's never as bad as what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So how can we train our brain? What can we do to harness that power?
Yes, our brain tries to protect us by saying, this could be a potentially bad outcome. Yeah. And so we sort of have to step in and be like, well, maybe it could be a good outcome. We don't know, but let's give it a go and let's see, and really hold compassion for ourselves. We all have experiences of rejection at some point in our life. That's very normal. So it's more about how we kind of deal with the aftermath of that and being able to say to ourselves, it's okay. It happens sometimes. We can feel the disappointment. It sucks to be rejected sometimes. But to take a step back, view it for just a moment in time, and then be able to think, well, there's future opportunities that I could potentially go for as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, with us as parents and everything, we also see that kids have to do it, not necessarily with job interviews, but it could be school friends or bullying at school or class tests.
Or trying out for the school musical or something, right?
Yeah, so teaching them to cope with failure is very, very important. Do you have any tips on how we can make kids understand the same things that you're telling adults?
Absolutely. Help them learn to validate their emotions. It's okay to feel disappointed when we don't get chosen for the school musical, or we don't get a good mark on the test that we were hoping for. It's okay to feel that disappointment, but we don't want to get stuck in that space. So how do we be kind to ourselves and be able to encourage ourselves for the future as well? Having those gentle conversations with kids is important.
What sort of language what would you say, for example?
I'd be saying, it's okay that you feel disappointed. It's okay that you're sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not feel good in this moment. And we can try again in the future. Or we can work harder, or we can go for the next opportunity, or we can try and make new friends, whatever it might be. Okay.
There's a new TikTok therapy. TikTok. There we go. That encourages rejection.
Therapy.
What?
That's a new term.
What's this all about? Is this a thing?
It's a bit of a trend on TikTok. I don't know that we would be doing it in the therapy room, but it's encouraging people to go out and experience rejection. So this might be that they go out and ask a stranger on the street for $100, knowing that they're probably very likely to say no. And the idea is that the more we put ourselves in these situations, the more we kind of build our resilience for rejection. I think actually what it builds is our ability to tolerate discomfort, because it's uncomfortable to go out in the street and ask a stranger for $100. But it's not quite the same as if you're rejected by a friend or a partner or a job that you're really hoping to get.
And there's every chance you could walk away with $100 in your hand.
Win-win.
Now, it's not just the fear of being rejected that is a big problem. Almost 3/4 of us actually have a fear of rejecting others. So what are your tips for when you need to let someone down or disappoint someone without feeling that awful guilt that goes with it.
Yeah, because we know how it feels to be rejected and we don't want to sort of put that on other people. So I think if we do need to let someone down, doing it gently, maybe saying to them that I know this might be uncomfortable to hear, or, you know, I really don't want to upset you in this situation, but unfortunately, you know, we're not going to be able to go ahead with hiring you, or whatever it might be. Being able to recognise that, you know, this might not feel good for them, and that you can show some kindness in that moment.
Or could you just lie? Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy that night, I can't make it. When really
Some small white lies.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with a little white lie, is there?
Well, I do say always be honest, then you never have to remember what you've said.
Yes, there is that too. What'd you say? What did you say?
I said
Sorry,
always...
sorry. Thank you so much, Anastasia. Very good advice there.
Cheers. Just ahead, we have the next winners in our massive Hamper Emporium giveaway, plus how to share in almost $15,000 worth of incredible prizes.
And if you don't win today, it's okay, because you can try again tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
No rejection.